The Bilderberg Group has released its full participant list and agenda for the 2015 elitist confab days before it's set to begin in Austria. But as ever, the topics up for discussion are so vague as to almost be meaningless. And we know that many of the most sensitive topics never appear on the list in the first place. So what's the real agenda of Bilderberg 2015? For a start, it's unusual that Bilderberg is taking place after the G7 conference. It's normally the other way round. This suggests that Bilderberg's role in not only setting the consensus, but making the final call on many of these issues will be pivotal this year. The intense security surrounding the Interalpen Hotel, with our reporters Rob Dew and Josh Owens already having been harassed numerous times by police, illustrates how paranoid Bilderberg are about keeping the details of their agenda under wraps. Artificial intelligence will be one of the core discussion topics at Bilderberg 2015, and one of the most interesting newbies in terms of Bilderberg attendees is undoubtedly Regina Duggan, former DARPA director and now Google executive, and a pioneer of ingestible ID microchips. Duggan, along with Google chairman Eric Schmidt and Demis Hassabis, vice president of engineering for Google DeepMind, will scheme with global power brokers on how to grease the skids for public acceptance and adoption of Big Brother technology that otherwise wouldn't look out of place in a dystopian sci-fi thriller. This all ties into Bilderberg's overarching goal of rebranding authoritarianism. As a result of endless money printing and growing wealth inequality, the global elite has created the preconditions for widespread riots and civil unrest. We already had a taste of this with Ferguson and Baltimore. Now the wealthy are buying safe rooms and secret hideaways in remote locations as they prepare to hunker down for the next stage of the economic collapse. And Bloomberg is now reporting that Johann Rupert, the billionaire owner of Cartier, is worried about artificial intelligence and robots replacing human workers, causing class warfare and social disorder. Make no mistake, Bilderberg wants class warfare. They want riots, because this allows the elite to exploit the chaos, pose as the saviors, and introduce the solution of statist and economic totalitarianism. And if you want to get a true insight into what motivates Bilderberg, look no further than the guy who calls the shots, Henry Kissinger. All the other Bilderberg attendees, bar David Rockefeller, show deference to the National Security Advisor. Kissinger has always been an aggressive advocate of realpolitik, an amoral Machiavellian form of diplomacy and policy making which eschews morality and ethical considerations. And of course, Kissinger has been implicated in numerous war crimes, crimes against humanity, kidnap, torture, and murder in places like Chile, Cambodia, and East Timor. But what's most alarming is the fact that the 92-year-old Kissinger still advises the Obama administration today. He's been lobbying for years for regime change in Syria, which may at some stage be achieved as a result of ISIS, created partly as a result of the US arming other jihadist groups in the region, taking over half the country, something the Syrian rebels could never accomplish. Under the guise of stopping terror financing to ISIS, which only seems to have become stronger since the US and others began officially targeting the terror organization, Bilderberg will discuss imposing harsher bank restrictions, eviscerating whatever financial privacy we have left, as well as a coordinated EU crackdown on the sale of precious metals. This ties in to the wider war on cash. Numerous voices have recently called for eliminating physical currency altogether, giving central banks and governments the power to directly control your finances under the justification of preventing an economic collapse. At its most authoritarian extreme, this means having to obtain government permission every time you withdraw or spend a moderately large sum of money. France is already set to introduce laws in September which will restrict French citizens from making cash payments over €1,000. Bilderberg is set to intensify this crackdown on cash. Preventing Greece from ditching the euro and stacking the deck against the EU referendum outvote in the United Kingdom will also be a core centrepiece of Bilderberg's agenda going forward over the next 12 months. The EU and the single currency is a pet project of Bilderberg. If that pillar of world government begins to crumble, it undermines the rest of the architecture of global government, including TPP, which again, despite not being on the official list, will be discussed by Bilderberg members. TPP could also be used to sneak through draconian climate change regulations under the radar. Bilderberg is scheming ways of how to bypass Congress and directly implement the post-industrial revolution that they've been pushing for over a decade. These measures, if fully implemented, will bankrupt the United States, cost millions of jobs, and force the country into deindustrialized debt slavery. Geopolitically, Bilderberg will also put pressure on recalcitrant European countries like Austria to further isolate Russia while encouraging the arming of Kiev-backed militias. Don't be surprised to see a major confrontation between NATO and the US before the end of the year as a result of this agenda. After slamming the G7 as authoritarian rule, China has also been completely frozen out of representation at Bilderberg 2015. The hegemonic importance of targeting Beijing's influence in the South China Sea, again, potentially risking a devastating confrontation, will be emphasized at Bilderberg 2015. Another topic up for discussion is the US presidential election. Let's not forget that Bilderberg almost certainly acted as kingmaker back in 2008 when both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were strongly rumored to have paid a visit to the conference in Chantilly, Virginia. The attendance of Jim Messina of the Messina Group, the organization that ran Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, proves that Hillary is Bilderberg's pick for 2016. Messina is now advising Hillary Clinton. His presence at Bilderberg will be focused around ensuring none of Hillary's potential challengers get the big bucks from the innumerable transnational banks and corporations that will be represented at the secretive confab. So in summary, Bilderberg's 2015 talking points and agenda for the next 12 months. Further isolating Russia over Ukraine, arming Ukrainian militias and potentially stoking a major confrontation with NATO, strangling financial support for Hillary Clinton's potential 2016 presidential competitors, the elites positioning themselves as financial saviors when more riots and civil unrest unfold, moving towards the abolition of cash and imposing economic totalitarianism, discrediting the Out campaign for the United Kingdom's EU referendum, rebranding authoritarianism in anticipation of the coming economic collapse, finalising the TPP as the next pillar of global government, dismantling China and the BRICS countries' ability to challenge the unipolar system, selling artificial intelligence and Big Brother surveillance as trendy and cool in order to fool the general public into adopting technology that will eviscerate their financial livelihoods and personal privacy. So that's what we know so far about the real agenda behind Bilderberg 2015, with more leaks and information to come. I'll be travelling out to Austria to join InfoWars reporters Rob Dew and Josh Owens, so be sure to check out the other videos on this channel and the Alex Jones channel as we lead the coverage for Bilderberg 2015. I'm Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.